Welcome back to CBS Mornings. We have an update on our CBS News investigation into a child care crisis in the armed services that could affect the military's readiness. Now, our reporting revealed some Army Special Forces soldiers in Florida were driving up to 3 hours round trip every day to take their children to child care. Now, in an interview that you'll see only on CBS Mornings, the Secretary of the Army says help is on the way. She spoke with senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge. Catherine, can't wait to hear what she has to say. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Gayle. For more than a decade, the 7th Special Forces Group, that's the Army's elite Green Berets, have struggled to get access to affordable and really child care that's near where they work. But that has changed recently now that the secretaries of the Air Force and the Army are directly involved. Why is child care so important to the Army?
Well, it's really a readiness issue.
And now Christine Wormuth, the first woman to serve as Secretary of the Army, is taking it on.
As a working mother, is child care personal?
It's absolutely personal. I mean, I have personally had that experience of racing to drop my kids off at the daycare center and get into work on time, or racing to get out to pick them up and sort of being the last parent to pick them up and getting the stink eye from the workers.
3 hours in the car every day just to get to childcare.
Yes.
Chelsea, a former Special Forces soldier who asked us not to use her last name for security reasons, showed me part of the drive that drove her out of the Army.
It just wasn't a sustainable solution.
She and her husband, still in Special Forces, juggled up to 3 hours of commuting each day for childcare, driving from their home in Crestview, Florida, past their training base at Camp Simons, 20 miles away, to where the Army offered childcare spots, another 20 miles to the south on Eglin Air Force Base.
It's unaffordable for military families to live closer to Eglin.
Was it impactful to hear from soldiers like Chelsea who had to quit the service?
Absolutely. I mean, I never want to lose a great soldier and family because they can't get childcare.
Working closely with the Air Force.
Earlier this month, Wormuth announced plans for a new childcare center on the Army Special Forces base.
We need to have our parents have childcare that's not too far away. So having it be on Camp Simons, I think really is the optimal solution.
The Army plan goes beyond the Florida base with greater stipends for daycare and at least 20 new child care facilities in the next decade. But with over 11,000 kids in military families waiting for child care, the Pentagon still faces the same staffing shortages as civilian daycares.
Part of what we're doing is trying to make sure we're recruiting the best staff. We're in a war for talent, frankly, so we're trying to raise our pay.
And with the war in Ukraine and China flexing its military power, Wormuth says child care is central to the mission.
We don't want a situation where someone is distracted from, the main thing, which is doing their job, because they're worried about their kids. Or we don't want to lose a good soldier because they weren't able to make the child care work.
Good job.
CBS News has confirmed that the Army and the Air Force recently signed a formal memo of agreement that provides for some short-term fixes, but the plan is to build a new child development center on Camp Simons. Tony.
Yeah, if the home front's not working, it's hard to do the job. It really is a readiness issue, as the Secretary said. Kudos to you and your team for shedding light on this issue, and then to the Army for hearing it and saying, yeah, we're going to fix it. It's going to change things. Catherine, thank you very much.
You're welcome.